Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining my first live. It could be a while before people join us, but let's see what happens. Um, yeah, I was going to make a video today, but I thought it might be a good chance to experiment with this for a change. Um, yeah, it's been a good year. Interesting to think back on everything that's happened this year. The first sort of post COVID year. Yeah, it's been nice to kind of get back to normality a little bit. Yeah, I thought I would come on and chat for a little bit, um, do something a little bit different. My first live stream of the year and my last, because there's not much time left this year. Um, yeah, this year was back to normality a little bit. Um, Teaching face to face. I teach at universities in Japan, and we got back to face, real face to face teaching. It took some time for students to become comfortable with things again. A lot of my students had a lot of their high school time was during the pandemic, so they had a couple of years wearing masks and getting back to face teaching and that kind of thing has been a bit of a difficult transition for them. But it's nice. I think everyone is back to back to normal, and yeah, I can see the confidence coming back into all the students, which is really nice. And yeah, just trying to build up those social skills that have kind of been lost after a couple of years on uh, teaching online, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this has been a nice year getting back to normal. Um, Also, a little bit of traveling. We had a couple of years where we couldn't leave Japan. Um, you might know that it was quite difficult for people to come into Japan. Japan really sort of closed down quite strictly, and that made it difficult for people living in Japan. Um, because if you leave Japan, you might not be able to get back in. So we had a couple of years where we were kind of stuck in Japan and we couldn't travel. And it was nice to be able to get out, see some people. Um, so we kind of had all of August. We managed to get a nice trip to Europe, which was good to see some family, see some friends. It was nice to reconnect with people. So that was a big highlight of the year. And also starting this channel. This has been available online for a while, but I wasn't really uploading regularly or taking it very seriously. But now that the year sort of came to an end, I thought I would try and do things a bit more seriously and see what what kind of content people might be interested in. So if you can tell me kind of what kind of content you would be interested in seeing from me, that would be really nice. Um, but yeah, my expectations were quite low to start with. If I could get a couple of hundred um, subscribers, that would be nice. But it's been a surprise success. I think I'm at around 2,300 subscribers, which is nice, and it gives me kind of confidence that we can grow a little bit into the new year, which is exciting. It's really nice to see positive comments from people, and also feedback. I'm new to this kind of teaching online through YouTube, um, and a lot of people have really helpful comments telling me what kind of things they would like to see, or maybe some changes that they want me to make to the channel. So that's really helpful, and I think next year is going to be very very exciting. So yeah, big plans for next year. I'm not going to be very good at reading names, but Monter Romdani, thank you very much for joining my first ever live stream. It's nice to try to explore the different options available here, and yeah, find different ways to connect with people learning English. So yeah, I'm really hopeful that I can provide some useful resources to people over the next year. Some big changes happening in my life. I live in Tokyo just now. I've been in Tokyo about 10, 11 years. But next year, I'm going to be leaving Japan. I first came to Japan in 2005. I lived out in the countryside for a number of years, and then did my master's degree in English teaching, and then decided to move to Tokyo. And yeah, I've been here 11 years, I think, and decided to move away from Japan. We're moving to Mexico City, which is exciting. So again, another big challenge that's going to happen in March, end of March, start of April. So we'll see what that brings. So I am a language learner again. I think it's good that the English teacher also learns some languages. So at the moment, I'm trying to be quite strict with myself, trying to learn Spanish, trying to do a little bit every day. I must say that learning Spanish feels so nice compared to learning Japanese. Japanese was hard, really, really hard. I mean, even people who have lived here many, many years struggle learning Japanese. So it's really nice to focus on another language, and I really enjoy Spanish. When I finished university, my first job was working in Santiago in Chile. So I worked as an English, not an English. I worked for a newspaper in Santiago in Chile, and that was my first exposure to really learning another language, and having the chance to use another language in the real world. I had studied French at school, but actually using it in the wild with real people, Chile was my first experience. So Spanish is not unfamiliar to me, and I'm looking forward to really focusing on that, and hopefully getting better at it. Obviously, living in Mexico, I'll have lots of opportunities to use it, so that's exciting. And yeah, becoming a student again. Like I said, I think it's nice for the language teacher to also be a language learner. It's very easy to forget how difficult it is to learn another language. And when I'm the one who has to sit down with a textbook, or I have to sit down with even if it's a video online, and I'm struggling to understand what's being said, I think it's really important for me to understand that experience. So that is a big goal for next year. What are your goals for next year? What kind of things are you hoping for in 2024. Language learning. Let's see if we can get a little poll going here. What are your goals for English in 2024? Let's see how this goes. And so, yeah, I think that's a big goal for me, learning Spanish. And also, as I said, trying to take this channel, trying to grow the channel, and also find the kind of content that people are interested in. I know the things that my students struggle with. So one of the things I've been doing on the channel is what we call prosody, linking words together. And that's something that my Japanese students really struggle with. Their pronunciation of individual words is very good, but actually linking those words together is something that they just don't learn in school. So it's really new to them when you kind of show them that you can link these words together. And it allows you to speak much more smoothly. And it's nice. It's nice once they once they kind of recover from the shock, when you explain that you can skip this sound, or these words can link together. And then they realize that it is possible to speak smoothly, the way that they hear people say on TV or in movies. So that's something that I enjoy teaching, because it's really something that is not taught at school. And it's not taught at school because it takes time. And there's so many other things that teachers need to teach at school, preparing students for exams, for example. So it's nice to try and find the things that I can focus on, and maybe the things that I have some skills in that maybe some Japanese teachers of English don't have the same confidence in. So yeah, let's get back in here. So yeah, Hava, Diap, thank you very much for commenting. Thank you to everyone for your support this year. The last couple of months. It's been nice to see all the likes and the comments. As I said, it gives me confidence that what I'm doing is useful, and encourages me to continue and make more content. So yeah, the plan is to upload a couple of times a week. I'm going to try to experiment with different content, and see what people find useful, helpful, and really try and discover what this channel can be, what kind of content this channel can provide. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to write a message. I can try to help a little question. Susana Sanchez, what do I like about teaching English? I do like I do like the engagement with students. I like it when students enjoy the class, and they can kind of relax, and they realize that if you make a mistake, it's fine. If you make a mistake, it's okay. And actually, we want to make mistakes in the classroom, because the classroom is a safe space, and if you make a mistake here, then you can learn from it, and then um, out in the real world, maybe if you're traveling or maybe you're using English for work, um, you've learned from previous mistakes that you've made in the classroom. But yeah, teaching in Japan is maybe a little bit different. One of the difficulties my students have is um, they're quite nervous, they're quite shy, they really don't want to make mistakes, and I think that's probably true for many students. But for my Japanese students, they really don't want to make they don't want to make any mistakes, and trying to be sort of to smile and help the students understand that it's okay. Make a mistake, it's fine, especially in the classroom. And if you make a mistake, it allows you to find your limit. Where is the gap in your language ability? And let's try and fill that gap so the next time maybe you don't make that same mistake. So yeah, that's something that I enjoy when I teach. Um, mm, so many years, but not getting fluency. Um, yeah, I think it, it's it is tricky. There's so many different ways. Um, um, consistency, consistency, I think, is really important, um, and also focusing on the skill that you really want to develop. So, if you want to be fluent, if you want to be speaking English fluently, you need to be speaking English regularly. I noticed this when I was um, learning Japanese. I could study with a textbook for a long time, but it didn't really help me speak very well. What helped me speak was I was taking online classes. Um, it was a couple of times a week. I think I was taking online classes, and just having somebody to have that conversation with, and obviously the teacher was supporting me. Um, that really made the difference. Suddenly, I was able to make all the connections in my head that all the things that I'd learned in the textbook, suddenly I was able to use them in real life. But I needed that environment to practice. I needed that interaction with a teacher, with a supportive teacher, um, to allow me to get comfortable and to experiment and to maybe make mistakes. Um, so if you really want to be fluent, and when you say fluent, I think you mean fluent in speaking. Um, you either need to start recording yourself speaking. I've got a video where I talk about that, how you can develop a daily practice speaking, recording yourself, and try to build up your strength that way. Um, and if you're in a position where you can find people to actually speak with, speak English with, um, and then you get that dynamic interaction. Um, so yeah, that's kind of consistency and actually focusing on the skills that you are trying to develop, would be my advice. Um, okay, Mondo, that's a good That's a good point, and that's definitely something that I want to try to spend more time on. Munder's comment there is about spending more time talking about the psychology of language learning. And again, going back to my Japanese students, the psychology is a huge part of it. Because I can give them a worksheet and they will get 99% correct when I give them the worksheet to fill in. And I'll give them a test and they will do really well in the test. But when it actually comes to producing language, they just don't want to make mistakes. And that's a psychological barrier because clearly they have the knowledge in their head. They've got the grammar, they've got the vocabulary, they understand the rules, but actually organizing their ideas and putting them out there, that's the big challenge for the students. So yeah, the psychology side of using English is really, really important. I have a lot of ideas. Psychology was my degree at university many, many years ago. So it is something that I'm very interested in. So look out for some videos coming up in the near future on psychology and language learning. So yeah, it would be interesting to know what type of content you might be interested in the next in the next few months. But yeah, it's been a good year, and I'm in Japan just now, and New Year is a big deal in Japan. They take it very seriously, so there's a strange kind of atmosphere. People are kind of, in one way, people are running around very excitedly, making sure they get everything they need for New Year. Families tend to come together. People travel long distances to be with their family, and you've got to make sure that you have all the food and everything so that everyone can have a nice time. But also there's a strange kind of quiet, because people are busy kind of cleaning their house. That's a big tradition. On the final few days of the year, they have this, what they call the big clean, the osoji. And it's a very, very deep clean that happens so that you start the new year on a on a nice foot. So yeah, I like this kind of strange kind of quietness that that happens at this time of year. So yeah, it is about 3:20 in the afternoon, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a nice meal, and then perhaps go to a shrine in the evening. That's what people often do at midnight. They go to a shrine, and some of the shrines there'll be a bell, and they will hit the bell at midnight, and that's quite a nice tradition to enjoy. And this will be my last New Year in Japan, so it'll be nice to enjoy that side of things one final time. But yeah, I think I will wrap things up here. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. I'm looking forward to doing more of these now that I can see how everything works and that people actually do join. So thank you very much if you've asked a question, and please look out for more content. Again, thank you very much for your support in the last couple of months, and I look forward to providing as much content and support as I can in the coming year. So all the very best for 2024, and I look forward to growing the channel, and I hope that you can improve your English by watching my content. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. And I'll see you in 2024. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.